if he wasn't the president of the United States, we don't have a video right now, but these threats of deportation to an American citizen, regardless of his personal feud, are absolute insanity. We're going to get into it. Because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interest of our great country, I am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America. Now, what's really interesting about this is, of course, this comes during the greatest divide in the sort of, history of MAGA, which is Trump's cover-up of the Epstein files. The fact that this week he's gotten called out by Steve Bannon, who, and again, we're going to have a separate video right after this covering all of this, but Dan Bongino took a day off, a mental health day yesterday on Friday, because of his ongoing fight with Pam Bondi. Folks want Pam Bondi fired, including Megyn Kelly. So we're going to have all of that next. But again, I say that because this is a diversion. This is to change the conversation away. And luckily, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. So we'll have both conversations. Now, I'm going to share Rosie O'Donnell's response next. And look, if anyone has any sort of opinions that's like, well, Rosie O'Donnell shouldn't have started her beef with, then you're on the wrong side of history. There should be no threats whatsoever to ever take away American citizenship, period. If she committed a crime, try her for it. She'll get a fair trial. Otherwise, shut the hell up and show everyone the Epstein files, right? So when did this all start? It was during a Hot Topics segment, the beef between Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump. She criticized him back in 2006. So talk about a petty loser. He's still upset about this. She called him a snake oil salesman. And again, she has a right to do that, right? He's got a bunch of failed businesses. If it wasn't for Pam Bondi actually dropping her charges against Donald Trump's Trump University because he donated to her campaign, shocking, maybe we would have seen more charges against his snake oil university and all of the other companies he's kind of licensed his name out for. But either way, we have here Donald Trump was axed from an event after he made comments about Megyn Kelly. He made comments about Megyn Kelly because this happened.
One of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
Listen, I, as a comedian, can tell you this would be a funny joke if he wasn't running for president. What's really sad is the response that it gets as far as the laughter from the audience. They can't get enough of it. Look at this lady right here. You know what I mean? She literally, they can't get enough. I can't believe he did that. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, this was 9 years ago that this happened. Of course, Trump has been beefing with Rosie for much longer than that. He's said things like this.
Has been outspoken about Rosie O'Donnell right here on Inside Edition.
I think she's a disgusting person and a disgusting creature. She's a mean-spirited, unattractive woman with a pig face. I really want some of her money from that big fat ass.
Carly.
I don't know. I don't understand how she got money from her big fat ass. But either way, listen, Trump wants to run his mouth in 2011. I don't care. He's the president of the United States. If he's going to make threats to remove citizenship from people that have not committed crimes, even if you've committed a crime, you don't lose your citizenship if you're a born citizen of the United States of America. That's not how it works. He needs, this won't happen, but this should be an impeachable offense. The threat to take away someone's citizenship is a threat against someone's First Amendment rights. She should be allowed to criticize the president as much as she wants without, of course, threatening him in any sort of, major way, but you're allowed to criticize. That's the foundation of our democracy. She responded with this. The president of the USA has always hated the fact that I see him for who he is, a criminal con man, abusing liar, out to harm our nation to serve himself. This is why I moved to Ireland. He is a dangerous, old, soulless man with dementia who lacks empathy, compassion, and basic humanity. I stand in direct opposition to all he represents. So do millions of others. You're going to deport all who stand against your evil tendencies? You're a bad joke who can't form a coherent sentence. Hashtag never Trump. Now, I've got another thing. A couple things that she said, and I don't blame her. It's one thing to move, say, oh, if so-and-so gets elected, I'm moving. But if you're in direct threats, if you're like a direct enemy of Trump's, I don't blame someone for wanting to leave the country while he's president and not have to deal with, getting charged with any crimes. Obviously, Trump's weaponized his Department of Justice. Who knows what kind of, what they would try to dig up on you or audit you or whatnot.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. You've got a lot of YouTubers like this guy, the podcaster. He's obviously a person that's on a certain side of the political spectrum. And he seems to think that everything is in one direction when it comes to Trump's responses or Rosie O'Donnell's responses. But I find it very, very funny how within less than a minute of him starting his own podcast that he wants to talk about the fact that, this is just a way to deflect from doing something else, which is actually letting people know about these Epstein list and files that they haven't released yet, or if they ever will. So this is what the certain entities in politics seem to like to do, is they like to misdirect you and redirect you on things because they don't want to answer for their own indiscretions and their own criminality. I mean, he mentioned it himself here, this guy Dave Neal, that, they're afraid, they're leaving the country because they're afraid Trump is going to indict them. Well, what are they so interested for if they weren't guilty of something? Why are they leaving if they're not guilty of actually doing something wrong that they seem to never get in trouble for by the last administration that, basically housed a Manchurian candidate? I mean, literally, he didn't answer for anything. He couldn't answer anything at all. He couldn't even comment at all. He actually had people writing his own signature for him, and we know that. So, this Rosie O'Donnell thing, it's kind of a crazy thing, and they've been bickering back and forth for years. I just kind of find it funny with this guy that he's pretty much on one side of the table as far as I'm concerned.
I'm a citizen, and I always will be, and it is my country, and I love my country, and I'm devastated by what's happened to it.
As Rosie O'Donnell talked on the Jan Arden podcast yesterday about her decision to move in January to Ireland, just days before Trump's second inauguration, Trump was spending his Friday morning being rattled for some reason by the talk show legend.
You can't deny his mental decline. If you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe it was that comment that Rosie made during her TikTok check-in on Friday from overseas that got Trump a typing. Donald posted on Truth Social Friday morning, because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interests of our great country, I'm giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship. She is a threat to humanity and should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America.
Since 2006, he's had this issue with me once I told the truth about who he was and who he is. Yeah. And he went crazy, and he's had a 20-year vendetta.
After seeing Trump's post that led to her name trending on Twitter, Rosie had a few responses. So first on Instagram, she posted a collage that included his Truth Social post, and Rosie wrote, "The president of the USA has always hated the fact that I see him for who he is, a criminal, con man, sexual abusing liar out to harm our nation to serve himself. This is why I moved to Ireland. He's a dangerous, old, soulless man with dementia who lacks empathy, compassion, and basic humanity. I stand in direct opposition all he represents. So do millions of others. You going to deport all who stand against your evil tendencies? You're a bad joke who can't form a coherent sentence. Hashtag never Trump." Then in another Instagram post, this one a picture of Donald embracing Jeffrey Epstein, Rosie wrote, "Hey Donald, you're rattled again? 18 years later and I still live rent-free in that collapsing brain of yours. You call me a threat to humanity, but I'm everything you fear. A loud woman, a queer woman, a mother who tells the truth, an American who got into the country before you set it ablaze. You build walls? I built a life for my autistic kid in a country where decency still exists. You crave loyalty? I teach my children to question power. You sell fear on golf courses. I make art about surviving trauma. You lie, steal, you degrade. I nurture, I create, I persist. You are everything that is wrong with America, and I'm everything you hate about what's still right with it. You want to revoke my citizenship? Go ahead and try, King Joffrey, with a tangerine spray tan. I'm not yours to silence. I never was." And then as the caption for, I'm assuming, her own piece of art depicting Donald, Rosie wrote, "He's on the list. It exists. hashtag distraction, hashtag focus. That would be the Epstein files that Donald suddenly doesn't want to make public.
People still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking that this Rosie post was just his attempt to, steer the conversation or distraction away from the Epstein files. Now on TikTok,
we're in the middle of a hostile government takeover.
Rosie used TJ and Very Very Vinny's Hostile Government Takeover as the soundtrack for a collage post with caption, "The POTUS, ladies and gentlemen, is a disgrace to all our beautiful country stands for. He's a danger to the nation. A mentally ill, untreated criminal who lied to America for a decade on The Apprentice. Thanks, Mark Burnett. And you fell for it. It's so tragic. Had you grown up in NY as I did and he did, you too would know what a total fool he is. Add me to the list of people who oppose him at every turn. It's now or never, America. My little post from Dublin upset him. Go arrest a few brown people, you truly evil man-child. Go, Rosie, go." That's part of the reason why I love her. I mean, she's got guts, and very smart of her to do or take the stance outside of the country. Yeah, just for her safety. I don't think Trump is actually going to attempt to strip her of her citizenship. But man, she's just one of those names that just rattles around in Donald's head over and over again.
He can't help himself, but, use me as a punching bag and ridicule me and tease me and call me ugly and unappealing and a degenerate and all the things that he does.
Like it's Hillary, it's Rosie, and now it's Biden who's, largely taken over the space that Obama was living rent-free in Donald's mind.
I mean, who are these people making these vlogs on YouTube commenting these crazy allegations back and forth? I mean, if you look at Rosie O'Donnell, I mean, she has fake teeth on top and bottom. I mean, you could go into all kinds of situations with her, and Trump's not perfect either. I understand that as well. But, when I actually was looking into this and the trending news of the week, I was like, what is this whole thing about Rosie O'Donnell and the citizenship stuff? So what I do is I put the title or information into YouTube, and all I continue to find is left-leaning people downing Trump and saying, oh, he can't do this and he can't do that, and Rosie's the greatest person since sliced bread. And I'm like, don't you understand what she did to one of her own children that she adopted years ago? I mean, that child doesn't want to have anything to do with her. And so everybody has their evil tendencies. It really doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or Rosie O'Donnell. But what I find fascinating is within a minute or so or less of these so-called podcasts, they tend to go right to this Epstein thing that seems to be on everybody's mind at this point. Hell, I wanted the Epstein list 2 or 3 years ago. We know who several of them probably are, but other than that, what is it going to matter? What's going to change once you know the list? Well, there's probably people on there on that list that if it were released, there would be a lot of people that would come under scrutiny and be in trouble, and Donald Trump could be one of them. Rosie O'Donnell could be as well. So, that being said, my first reaction is these guys are just trying to make up stuff as they go. They think it's trending stuff when, Trump has been bickering back with Rosie O'Donnell for the last 15 plus years. Are we in 2025? God, I hope so. But we're not in 2011 or 2006 or whenever they started their feud, because I don't really care. Let's just move on to the stuff that really matters.